And besides Ukraine, Europe has another thing to worry about at the moment, a massive surge in Wuhan virus infections across Europe. The fifth wave has hit the continent. Several countries have ordered lockdowns and restrictions yet again. The move has led to violent protests in many parts of Europe. Thousands of protesters took to the streets this weekend across Europe. Law enforcement agencies are struggling to contain their anger. Our next report tells you what's driving Europe's latest Wuhan virus surge.
It looked as if a bomb went off. This is the Hague in the Netherlands. Over the weekend, these streets looked like a war zone. Bicycles were set on fire. Protesters were everywhere, and riot police was scrambling to bring the situation under control. They weren't the only ones who were struggling. Across Europe, similar scenes were playing out. Thousands of protesters were out on the streets in Croatia, Austria and Belgium. In fact, in Brussels, water cannons were used to push back the crowds. All these Europeans are angry about the same thing: Wuhan virus restrictions. Lockdowns are being reimposed across Europe. New infections are soaring. Almost every day now, more than 300,000 new cases are being found. Around 350 tests per 100,000 people are coming back positive. The death toll has risen by 10%. The fifth wave is hitting Europe, and the peak might still be far away.
As we are progressing into the winter season, we are seeing that COVID-19 infections and hospitalizations rates are on the rise in almost all the member states. And the bulk of patients in intensive care are the unvaccinated.
Anti-vaxxers are driving up new infections in Europe, as well as these protests on the streets. Countries like Austria imposed mandatory vaccination rules, but the move has led to public backlash. Leaders are being called dictators for asking people to take a Wuhan virus vaccine.
I want my freedom back. One would think we live in a democracy, but now this is a coronavirus dictatorship.
I'm here because I believe it's wrong to classify a healthy human being as a danger who has to undergo tests all the time, when in fact it's not as dangerous as they say.
Who is driving this campaign against vaccination? The right-wing politicians. They are stoking this fire for political gains. Who are these politicians? One of them is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a prominent anti-vaccine campaigner and the nephew of former US President John F. Kennedy. Recently, he joined an anti-vaccine protest in Milan. Kennedy addressed around 7,000 protesters. He attacked the Green Pass, a mandatory vaccination certificate that every worker now needs in Italy. Kennedy said the Green Pass is an attack on the rights of Italians.
All of these rights that were taken away from us, these governments said it was temporary, it was only 2 weeks, it would be over. In truth, you can all see what's happening. They are taking those rights and they will never give them back unless we make them.
Campaigns like this one began in a few pockets of Europe, but they are spreading across the region now with the Wuhan virus. If Europe is serious about crushing the latest surge, it should start battling the misinformation against vaccines. Bureau Report, World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.